It looks like Canada is going to be sticking with their immigration targets regardless of the housing crunch that we are currently in. Immigration, interest rates, and unemployment levels. That is what I have always been told are the core fundamentals of the Canadian real estate market. How many people are coming into Canada because they're going to need to live somewhere, and that's the immigration side of it. The interest rates, which is can people actually afford to borrow money? Do they have access to the money? And the unemployment levels. Do people have jobs? Can they afford to get mortgages? Can they get approved for mortgages? Now, if all three of those pillars are strong, you see real estate markets and prices skyrocketing. If two of the three of the pillars are strong, which is where I think we are right now with immigration and unemployment, but interest rates are kind of the question mark, that's typically when you see a kind of calmer marker, prices trending downwards. Now, if all three are not very good, that's when you see housing market crashes. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more in today's video. My name is Tom Storey. I appreciate you being back here on the channel. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe. We have passed 10,000 subscribers. I wanted to show you guys something that showed up at my front door. Check this out. Let me see if I can focus it on there. Tom Storey for passing 10,000 subscribers shortly after pre-con dawn. Now, this said on the package that came from YouTube headquarters, but I have a feeling it may have come from another awesome YouTuber on this platform. So if you know who I'm talking about, make sure to comment below. And once you subscribe, make sure to like this video and go into the first link in the description if you want to book a call with me or anybody on my team about the Toronto real estate market. On today's video, I want to cover an article that was put out by BNN Bloomberg and show you what they are talking about, because Trudeau recently shuffled his cabinet. There is a new housing minister. And some of the comments made by the new housing minister were very interesting. And I think it's something that, as someone that lives in Canada, either owning real estate, renting real estate, or investing in real estate, should be very, very interested in what he said. So we're going to talk about that. And we have to look at well, what does the next decade look like? I know we all think about right now, mortgage payments right now, the interest rates going up, and I understand all that. Those are the conversations I'm having on a daily basis. But what does it look like in 10 years from now? All right, let's jump into the article and take a look at what BNN Bloomberg is saying. So the title is Canada Sticks with Immigration Target Despite the Housing Crunch. The article starts by saying that Justin Trudeau's government won't lower its immigration targets despite some of the growing criticism that this population growth is worsening the existing housing shortage. And I think if you just look at the basic math, this is very clear. More people coming in, more demand. Now, something that needs to be said is that Canada does need immigration. We have an aging workforce. We also had a lot of people that during the pandemic were maybe 5 years away from retirement that have retired a lot earlier because of what we went through the last few years. We need people to come in and fill the jobs in Canada, but they also need to live somewhere. This is the part that I thought was super interesting. In his first interview, a week into his new cabinet role, Immigration Minister Mark Miller said that the government will have to either keep or raise its annual targets for permanent residents at above 500,000. This is interesting to me because there's a lot of people saying hey, immigration is part of the reason why the housing prices are so high. But the government's basically saying, listen, whether you like it or not, it's going to stay at what it is right now, which is already a historic high, right? We just passed 40 million people, or we're going to even raise it. So it's not going down. It's staying exactly where it is, or it's going up, which will be good news for people that are looking to come to Canada. But if you're someone sitting on the sidelines trying to get into the housing market or frustrated with where the rental prices have gone, well, of course, immigration plays a role into that as well. This chart here has gone around Twitter quite a few times, and it's basically showing that the housing shortage that we have here in Canada, and it's the new housing starts are not keeping up with the record immigration. So what it's showing is the number of net international migrants per unit of housing construction started. It is the worst it has ever been. So at a period of time where the most amount of people ever are entering Canada, we are also not building. And we're not building because overall the real estate market wasn't what it was previously. It costs more than it ever has before. We've gone into these topics in depth on this channel before. But now what does the future look like? Right. So right now, everyone's conversation is interest rates. At some point, inflation will get under control and interest rates will come down, not to where they were before, but maybe you get the 5-year fixed at 3.5% to 4% in 2 years from now. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But eventually, we're going to go back to that territory. But Then in 5 years, in 10 years, are we building at the rate that we need to based on the population growth that we are seeing? I would love to know what you think on this topic. I know this topic can be somewhat controversial for people, but this is Canada. Canada is growing. They're going to continue to grow. They're not going to push the targets downwards. And we're going to have to figure out what to do. We're going to have to build really, really, really fast to meet the demand, or housing prices, specifically rental prices to start, are going to continue to move up at rapid paces. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Tom Storey. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And remember, home is where your story begins.